Coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, home of Super Bowl 57, it's the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show with your hosts, Troy Geary, Will Stein, and Dave Stevens.
In the NFL. So let's just go right to our new friend, Jim Everett, joining us. And Jim, thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you're over there working and seeing all the things you're doing. So tell us about the role of being a non-quarterback and a broadcaster at this big event.
Well, anytime you're coming to the Super Bowl, Dave, it's but the first thing I do is make sure that the table is secure, and it sounds like it is over here, so we're good. So, it's fun to be on this side, ask the questions. We're just with Steve Largent, and it's fun to just get back in the locker room type talk with the guys. It's real, and that's where we try to keep it.
Yeah, and again, thank you for joining us. Loved your career as a quarterback, and it's been funny as I've been watching you interact here and everything, and I know we kind of have a dual friendship nemesis in the back as far as old Jim Rome. For old timers that don't remember, you had a little fun on ESPN2, I think, when it debuted, with him making fun of you and calling you a tennis player. And, again, it was one of those stupid things that the media always tries to get, just push you, poke you, and it comes out. And then full circle, when I was playing minor league baseball, and if you don't know my story, I was born without legs, all you folks out there, but I played minor league baseball.
Which is amazing.
It happens, but
rare.
I was on That's Incredible. You remember that?
Yeah.
But we had that mutual hate for him because he made fun of me playing baseball. He called me a freak. I was bad for the game. He said it was just a slap in the face. That obviously Mike Beck was the son of Bill Beck, who had the little person that he had come up for one at bat. So he was, calling me a circus act. So I see him still to this day, and I know. You bury it, you nod, you shake hands. He doesn't know me from Adam, but I just was what your memories of it now and what it's like when you have to pass by that circle.
Well, I think the important thing is in life, and that's everybody, all of us, is certain people are going to say certain things and do certain things, and it's up to you if you want to carry it or not. And it's like words will never hurt you. Maybe throwing a table and coming at you will, but there's always a limit. And I'm not saying right. I don't think it's fair to pick on other people, but I think that was part of the media in the 90s. That was the shock jock, was the whole rage type deal, and I think the evolution coming through. And I think like you and Troy, respect for the game, respect for the people that play it, because every time you step on the field, you take a risk, not only with your body, but your body of work that you do. Like we're going to see Mahomes, we're going to see Hurts come out, and your worst nightmare is to shit the bed, but you try to do your best body of work out there, and hopefully it turns out, and hopefully you're the MVP, and hopefully you win the game. But no, it doesn't. There's the other side of it, and that's the real part of athletics. But you're willing to take the risk, to put yourself out there and do the best you possibly can. And I trust every athlete that goes out there does.
Yeah, I want to ask you about today's game. I know when you played, things were a lot different, a lot of late hits, dirty stuff. You were a big
it wasn't dirty. It was all legal.
It was all legal. But do you think the NFL is doing enough to protect the players, or do you think it's too much now?
Well, they changed the rules in 1997, or at least that was the first round, and that was the year I retired. So, they started to change the rules because they knew they had a product. They had a great product. And we were in the league when it was millionaires, and now they're billionaires. And I'm talking about the owners. So to protect the quarterback was to protect the Michael Jordans and protect the LeBron James of the game. So I totally believe that turning the game in to keep those guys on the field more. There was no way that in our era we could play till we were 40 or 45 unless you were George Blanda kicking the ball or something. You just couldn't survive it because it was an auto accident happening every Sunday or Monday night if you played. But I do believe that the rules are good. I think the NFL is smart to be able to. Also, the receivers going on. When you're defenseless, we had Ronnie Lott, who would actually just take someone's head off and decapitate, and he would run around the field before the games and say, "Don't throw over the middle. Don't throw over the middle." Nowadays, you can get away with a little bit higher throw, a little bit more, because the receivers are protected. I love that about the game. I still think that there's some calls, with the defensive backs, the contact. In our day, there was a lot more contact with the defensive backs. We didn't get the free release. So those rules have changed. But if I was a defensive player, I might be a little bit more upset, because they're kind of taking the defense out of the defense. But, that's kind of the brand of the game. I like it. I think every record throwing the ball will all be broken. And I think it's still good for the game because you're talking points.
Yeah, but it brings to the reality check that we saw a few weeks ago with the Buffalo player that got hurt, on the field, I'm almost like, what took so long for that to happen? I think it was like it's such a hard hitting game that we've never had someone like that on the field go into a cardiac arrest.
I think you're talking about a rare moment in sports. So I don't think that's something that happens continuously in our game, and I think there's still researching what exactly happened.
But it brought up that it's a violent sport and it could happen. Like, that's why I'm shocked.
Happen. I mean, but it's not so violent that we're Roman gladiators playing to death. I mean, that's not what it's still a sport. It's still, we shake hands. It was funny. I was talking to some people the other day. It's like, as soon as the game's over, then you're gentlemen, you shake hands. And then you might even have ex-teammates on the other team and chuckling with. And I know that might look different to some people on the set, but this is our careers, and we got that 3-hour window to make a mark. And either before or after, usually don't mess with people before. But after the game, it's time to, have a beer with your fellow teammate or opponent and say, hey, that was really great. That was not good. You might hold some stuff over. We might even hold some stuff over to some radio guys. But other than that, we get over it and move on to the next thing. And because, if it's someone in your division, you got to play them again. And you always respect the people that you play against because they're professionals as well. And that's how I kind of look at it in media as well.
I got one more before you go. You growing up in Kansas, went to Purdue. Now I'm talking about the NILs. Now, what do you think of them personally, and how much money would you have made?
Let's get into NIL. All right.
Here in the day?
So, done some research. I don't know. I'm actually on the board on Purdue's NIL advisory board. So, I try to be involved with that as possible. I think the landscape, let's go back to how we got here. The NCAA to me was a monopoly, has been a monopoly. I don't think the athlete, they call them student athletes, but you get pigeonholed into this, granted, you get an education. I love that, but sports have grown. We were just talking about owners going from millionaires to billionaires. Same with schools. The athletes still just getting. At Purdue, I was getting $170 a month for allowance to pay my. Then I had $135 a month rent on top of food. It really just wasn't enough, and we could not work. So I think that this is real, and I'm all about being real. I wanted to push the NCAA. I know that there was extra money coming in. And then, as far as having an athlete, I know there's students participate in that somehow. I think the NIL is real. I think the NIL was always there. It was just under the table in some programs. And some programs got caught, got punished. Some didn't. So I think it's just, let's just call a spade a spade. Let's get the guys represented. Let's let them use their name, image, and likeness. I think that's everyone else on the planet gets to use their name, image, and likeness. Why would a college student athlete not?
So, but some big benefactor could go, I want to put together a super team, because now these guys are, we're seeing athletes that have gone to 4 different colleges now because they didn't like their coach.
Well, that's what the portal as well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because you were held hostage
an NFL free agency.
But yet the coaches could move, but the players had to pay a year penalty. So, if we look at it, it's just equalizing the playing field between, the employees of a school and the student athlete. The student athlete used to have to pay a 1-year penalty. Now they don't. It's called a portal. So can a program buy it? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
If a program wants it.
If the money's there, right? And there's always money around college football. Before we let you go,
it's just talked about. Now it's just talking about money's always been there.
It's easier to like legalizing marijuana so that no one gets arrested anymore. It was going on so much that they've just had to do it. It was so corrupt.
Just say gummy bears. Good, right?
Yeah. So before we let you go, there is a game this Sunday, and we would be remiss if we didn't ask you. It's a great matchup. It's a real win for the league to have two of the best quarterbacks, two of the best teams. So it's like I'm not really rooting for anybody. I'd like it to be a close game. I don't want it to be one of those crazy blowouts. But what do you like about the game? And you want to pick?
57 Super Bowls. 16 times did the number one seed on both sides get to face each other. So, and reason, they both have good offense. Check the box. They both have good defense. Check the box. But now we're getting to individual battles. You go down to special teams, the secondary against the Chiefs. You got the running game. You got arguably Mahomes is the MVP. Now, I think he's going to take an MVP of the Super Bowl for the Chiefs to get that victory. If not, I think the Eagles have the advantage, and I think the line is leaning that way. But what a great offensive matchup! I take the over. I want to see an offensive. Maybe that's just being a quarterback in me. I want to see a great, back and forth offensive matchup. I think we have everything set to do it. Again, unless something crazy happens, I see the Eagles winning 3 or 4 points.
All right. Well, you've heard it right here from the horse's mouth. Our first good prediction from Jim Everett. Just a great quarterback, a really good dude. Tell us what Jim Everett's life is like. We see you, how do we follow you on social media and all those things that us old people are supposed to know about?
David.
I can say, what's your MySpace page?
I don't. Are you including me and we and old people? I'm just going to keep that. I'm over here with Troy. Come on. I tell you, I'm on Twitter and Jim_Everett. Follow me anytime. You can follow me at Valley Sports. We're streaming each week, giving game analysis. And we're going to grow on that platform. It's really a good time. I just love the fact that, it used to be in an era where you had to be with a channel. Now with all the streaming and all the different things that are out there, our young folks, the old folks get on it because there's so much access to information. And I absolutely love it. I embrace it and encourage you.
Although, could you imagine in this day and age if you and Rome had done that? It would have been viral. There would have been TikToks. There would have been you'd be a millionaire, right?
Well, there was an opportunity for Jim and I to do a hamburger franchise thing. He did not want to release the rights. He's got the rights of that thing, and so he's sitting on them. And all I can do is encourage him. Let's play with it, Jim. Let's go. It's fun. And it's crazy because a lot of the communication schools use that on do's and don'ts in the media. And, so that's why some of the younger guys know. They're like, I never saw you play, but I saw the Jim Rome thing. Yeah.
See, that goes back to I had a really ugly incident with Reggie Jackson, and that's how I lost my legs. So it's all good, right?
the legend grows.
Yeah. All right, Jim Everett taking some time with us. Best of luck to you. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, good to be here, Troy.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that is the legendary Jim Everett joining us on Radio Row. And again, we are so excited to be here and have you guys follow us and watch us and support us. And we have something for you folks. Yeah, you can. We have something for you folks, for just being a part. And we'll get Jim a shirt later from our awesome people at Fresh Clean Threads. We know where you're sitting. So, but Fresh Clean Threads is a big part of what we're doing. And we appreciate that they've given us this opportunity to share that wealth with you guys out there. That's why I'm wearing these shirts. They support us, and we just want you guys to get the best out of what you can do when you got to be a media person going and attending all these things. So make sure you join us on the next session that we have. And as I said, you get 25% off of all of their products at freshcleantees.com, freshcleantees.com, and you make sure you type in the backhash GSS show. You get 25% off, and you look good, you'll feel good, and of course that's why we're here, is to look good and feel good. And we got some more guests coming up in just a second, so don't go away.